how early would you consider too early? Like if somebody's doing an advertising plan for a year, you know, a year in advance buying, like a year is too early? You think like 5 years because social media is just taking off?
So one thing we see is, for example, someone will run a community challenge on Polyvore, sort of like a contest, and then the day the contest ends, meaning the entries close, you can't enter anymore, they measure, you know, how many entries were there, how many page views were there of this page. But that's like actually missing the whole point, because what happens is someone made that entry maybe 2 minutes before the contest ended, and then they shared it on Facebook and Twitter, and it stays on the site forever, and people it keeps getting page views, and it keeps promoting the content that it contains. So maybe like a Marc Jacobs bag. So you have to look past the you have to look for at a longer time horizon to really get the full value of to really get the full value.
So I would say the investment time frame that you want to look at, I would compare it to basically person-to-person relationship building. So social media is really just about relationship building. It's just that social media allows you to build relationships with many people at the same time. So think about it as one-on-one. Jess and I met over the internet. Chictopia emailed her saying, Jess, do you want to work together? She emailed back saying, sure, let's do it. And then maybe we exchanged an email a month later. We met up for coffee. Maybe 2 months later, we started doing campaign. I would say maybe 2 or 2.5 months after we started talking, our first collaboration was really successful. We didn't really talk for like 6 months after that. And then Jess sent me an email last season saying, can I come to your party? I said, sure. We talked. We didn't talk for a while after that, and there's this conference. So think of it as, you know, when you try to be friends with someone, what do? I mean, how long do you invest trying to be friends with that person? How long do you invest in, you know, marketing yourself? Is it 1 month? Is it 2 months? Is it a year? Or maybe is that person worth it? So I would say it's a judgment call for friends. I mean, for me, I think a year is good. You know, if you have a 1 year long plan, you've had a relationship with your customers in this community, it is time to look at time for investment. For me, at least, if I invested a year to be someone's friend and she never called me back, I'm like, okay. I think that's reasonable. But I definitely think a month is too short. I don't think Jess emailed us back right away. And sometimes she doesn't reply to my emails in two weeks. But we're all busy, right? And sometimes I don't get back to her. So, but yeah, just look at it as, and we're pretty good friends now, but just look at it as a relationship building, you know, understand your customer, understands their needs, you know, within, I think a year is a good time to kind of step back and look at return on investment. Maybe she didn't get back to you because you didn't talk to her the same way or the way she wanted you to, but come up with a plan, I would say, with the community and know your audience and give it some time. More than a month, but I think a year is reasonable.
Yeah. We have time for one more question.
Hi, this question is about accessibility for brands, and I know that Burberry, they started their Facebook fan page, I think in like November or December or something, and it sort of boomed after a couple days. But do you think that for luxury brands that accessibility sort of weakens their image as a luxury brand? Like my 13-year-old sister is a fan of Burberry, and she's talking about her favorite, I don't know, bags and Burberry scarf, but I mean, I don't really think that's as legitimate as someone who would actually be buying the products. So do you think that social media is changing the views of how, the view of what accessibility means for luxury and high-end products?
Yeah, I'm going to take it first, but yeah, definitely. I think what it does is actually, I'm going to quote this from Jess, is that you can't control your image as well as you want to. I think before social media came along, a brand can control its image by running an ad campaign on Vogue, on style.com, and there's a really pretty girl that's, you know, 30 wearing a Burberry bag, and then that's you associate that with Burberry bag. And you don't really see who actually wears that on the street, just because, you know, we can only meet so many people a day. But what social media does is it really opens up anyone and everyone to show off who wears their Burberry bag. So if you didn't want someone to have your bag, that person will have it and you can't help it. But what a brand needs to do is that, if you are what you are, you really need to work harder to seek out those people that you want to target. So I think it absolutely, you just can't afford to be exclusive as a brand. You have to be inclusive, but there are ways, just like we talked about, to influence the influencers to still maintain your image, and perhaps even refine your image to come up with a better philosophy for your brand going forward.
I think it is also still possible to participate in social media while keeping the product and the brand sort of aspirational. I think Polyvore actually does a pretty good job of that with promoting. I don't know if you look at our top products and brands, like a lot of it is fairly exclusive brands. Like I've discovered all these brands like I had no idea about that are a little more exclusive. So I think it's still possible to maintain that environment while also being in social media.
Okay.
Great.
I think we're going to end this panel now. I think a lot of you guys are looking for the fashion show that comes next. And I can't wait to see who will become the next Rodarte. So
we'll be taking a 15-minute break so we can have time for the designers to set up. And we'll probably be having to move some of the rows of chairs by the stairwell since some of them will be coming up through there.